Birito konyora biasoro gutwara umuchando nainde ntubwata mariogo na marioga ya igaitu ni igara yemete nainde turuseti chinse chisiko ao nainde ni igara marioga rosiri no umanyi gwa igoro mono ayo akonyara kurusia amaroira yaboniga kurwasa umubiri witu yani buna bono murigereria ayande ni igago sibia manyinga ayo itayo umubiri arusia amafuta ali amabeto kurukanga cholesterol ali akogoteye meki yagera amaroira na gotonyora marioga ni gotokurusia somo chi Hong Kong eyere ni China ayande ngurustura sensemo ya India na ayande ngurustura sensemo ya South Africa na ayande na ayita Kenya agaiga bali no kuganya ngoko nyori mirimo bayichi senyegitari yaitu banyora maegerio egere tubwatera naso bwamo obweni abantu baitu gusi nonya nisiko ya gusi
asamanke bakere simya se namba 0717176383 gose obatarire memo chobosongo ange nesteji echigari HK Pharmaceutical Center obobwenia oraigene
Etaya TV Oborabu Wagusi.
Na gusugera mwancho mulgereria ndonsi asore na nene mono ugendete gotubwateyemo aseyemo imambia engiya chinsa nisano chabono mambia kitariki 19 mutinyino yugatano nalimo mwaka no ibwe chilifu bena 25 lituko neri Alhamisi murubirio nigo kurukwanga Kwana neta lituko rero nigo orache gusanga mona inche goika omwerio chinga kitorache gusangamo naye anene gwetera ase egati yale barike baito bamangana abariganire gokomanya yemo aseyemo nemono ayabekirwa semeza ya Kwana neta serituko rero chinga ki ase Kwana ya beneri tuko lia rero turachie kogosoria igoro ya police brutality na boiga mangana rengete blame games ayo garate konekiwe me yense ito ya Kenya negati ya aria tokomorekera kobwatekana na mangana yugotumeki bwechingurugweta ne birengo byabanyanyimbo kobwatekana na makweria ye Albert Ojwang na boigo okoraswa kwa omonio yomo chinga kichokoro bekana so mucho Nairobi kobwatekana na gosokora suko monio yoma se chinsa mujiri chinga kichokoro bekana oyo gotebekana chinga kechiga orasenya gitari ya Kenyatta asagendete konyora obo wenia machumulilia gati ya mange nigagendete koenekiwa chinga kindoche aiga ense ya DRC Congo Rwanda chikagere go chikobeka SAI yokolenta okuigwana na kumurembe kitariki 25 na bire mutinyo yoiga ase okwendekebwa mate obuya chinse chibire nigo chabire chigotwara obo visa samantuko atalia make goika bono na nigo baikerero okuigwana na kuchikobeka SAI yogotwara okuigwana na machumulilia igapo igo ekyombekeria kya aipoa nigo kenyere koba gekomo samoni mo deputy IG Lagat anemono kowatekana na makweri ayo watiranetie omosae na boigo ebloga gosomutumeki bwe mitandao Albert Ojwang oyonyera kobaka gosiribo gima bwaye kara segetaseni kama nyimbo kia Central memo chio Nairobi Mchobugilia boigo egati ya manga yegendete koenekiwa negati ya aria ringete makweli yomo bwabonia ase omochie o Nairobi oyo onyara koba nere kunyara koba ka kora swali sasi chingaki rengego gokoro bonia bwechi mask ase okorobekana kwa basae abo bare korobekana igoro yo kogechigwa komokweli abwatrenetie musae Albert Ojuang ayo nanyere koba gakoenekigwa na wika boniga babire nigo banyakoba bagotigigwa emeremo yomoniga kurukwanga Cleansy Barasa Masinde no yoneriga kurukwanga Duncan Kiprono abo banyere koba bagosoerwa otumeki wechinguru ekyo chietanetie ebirengo engana tugochugukwanira asirituko ria rero mochubuliria abaiga nigo bamurasete omoni yo mobwechi mask chingaki chobonia chingaki kyokorobekana kobatekana na okorobekana okukobatreneti kwa basae bo balakorokyo kogachigwa kwabo wenchera omosae Albert Ojuang ayateko bakagosiro bogima bwaye kale ase egetuo kyabanyanyimbo ime yomocho Nairobi egetuo kimanyikana na Central ime yomochi Nairobi mocho buligelia na lelia toganyirete gwetera sama yeme Etaya TV mocho mo ligelia nigo murikito Eric Maobe gerete korutoto roboti igoro ye enkeyemo kurikisemo chiamu amogesa eyo yanyekoba gegwapili gosekobolia abali no gwancha okuya koba obokonyi bwechibesa elio koba konya kokeania gosegokora ebill ya erase nyagitali goserase enyomba yokugacha abaminto banyeko bagotonyora ya kisi teaching and faro abo aseba gotegabuna nigo omwanchu abo anyereko bakakobera ase enkendu oikaboni gemetienyi ange ebere na nigo baburire balia abale no gwancha okuya wesokia limo lioka na koba obokonyi bweke nibo elio kwenekianga nkomurusi baro yomo basenkendu ya kisi teaching and referral abo elio komoenia ase elio komoenia ase ensemo ya mogesa mochubalgelia wigayagendete konekiwa nsemo yemitandao ngamona ekyombekelia gia Gen Z ekyo kegendete kobolia lituko lia 25 gose June 25th krokolielia June 25th nigo krokolielia guchasa matukamagega it marked lituko lilia Gen Z basoete asikipara umwaka wa 2024 elio okorobekana na kopinga finance bill umwaka wa 2024 na boigo finance bill umwaka wa 2025 kraboni go monchulilia nigo abasae bagendete kumoboria oyoromo waziri wa mangana yuberendi Waime Kipchumba Murkomen kunyara koba gakobeka lituko lia 25th of June koba lituko muna yani lituko lyo motimo kogose holiday mangana ganda takonekiwa sana sense media yemi tandao na mwanchumulilia intwe buneta TV ntochikuira libaga lyogo komanyegati yanga bunayo yagendete konekiwa kurase igosiku kwana imense ito ya Kenya kingaki ekiombe kyabasai okwane kyombekelia gia Gen Z kagendete kobolia serikali kobeka lituko mwako yoiga mutinyo yoiga lituko lya 25th of June mwako yoiga mutinyo yoiga kone kyanga kobalire lituko limotimoko na konyora lituko abasae bekembegia Gen Z besogetie ase chipara chubotakati bwemeche kokwano mocho bosongo mocho Nairobi ne emeche yende mense ito ya Kenya kogenda mamincha ne finance bill mwaka wa 2024 na bigo 2025 mwancho muliria ninki okonyora litukeliga gose ninki okonyora kinga kikyo motinyo yoga gose litukeliga animono gukwano mwaka wa 2024 na bigo kinga kikyo finance bill mwaka oyo na mwaka oyo mwancho muliria ekero okorigereria egati ya mange aria abasaba baba gukwanira kero kende abonete bako claim kero kende koba a holiday neribuna abasae abange niko banyarete koba bagusiria amagima abo chingaki chokorobekana koria abange goikaboniga abande tibara atoka basirete kabisa nabo iga abange bakanyora chinkoma chintindi ekyo kero kende chibatigerete obarema ase emebere yabo wanchubuliri berengeri bya umbire byebika ne ligo okubotana negatiye chinkwana chabasaya nga lituko lya emerongevere na isano motenyi oyo ogatano na limu mako yega bikiri fubene merongevere na isano libe lituko lyogotimoka na kobainyora ekyombe kyabasaya alimono genzi balia abesogetie ase ekipara na korana mekera igoro yenchere finance bill liyo mwaka bikiri fubene merongevere na inye yali guchia kubanyanyasa aba Kenya mancho begebirengeri byago mbire bebiga begebirengeri byago nga ninki okonyora igoro yigitali kemerongevere na isano mutenyo gatano narimo hano monekero gwa kebicha yago chimaega mwaka wikirifuwe na merongevere na inye mancho bulire yago suka bocho momora ibense ya Kenya nigagendete go preside over a retreat hano mono asikinsemo chia Nairobi go chakira lituko lia rero na ntichikonyore gati yayo na yanda mange alegandete konekiwa ase ensemelia onchumulira nabo otubwate gwetera sensemo yemitandao anamona sensemelia ya Facebook, YouTube nabo igo TikTok no Twitter kugira sensemelia mwanchumulira bwatia Etaya TV subscribe base channel Etaya TV nabo igekero gwikirire gati imirubilio out yo togokoretera yemo ase yemo niko gusanga noyo mino egere neranyore ayagandete konekiwa yemo ase yemo mwanchumulira chinkakito kwamboka kuye kamanyiriro no kumenya gati alia makagandete konekiwa nigo okunganchira nkomanye gati yaria ose gati yabalikibito bamangana kurasikinsemo chingakikuraso mochu Nairobi bilikito Josephat Makura moracha ndate ko yaliga onsi na kone kenga ngotomanyere gati ya mange chingaki omochu Nairobi ogandate gotwale gasie nkogo chingaki abasae bagandate wesoke asubuga tagatibu muchoyo na kugenda mamincha ninchira makweli aye alibato jwanga nyateko ba kwene kiwa bigo mochu bulilia kurase county Nyamira muri kitogero Peter nigo bakobotera Felix Nyakundi otumanye gati ya mange ayo aganete konekiwa kurase ensemelia yo ye county ya Nairobi chinge kuroiga se county ya Kisii muri kito Eric Maobe sagini kerosi Thomas Cornelia Sonyancha nabo igo Kelvin Onderi kuri chinsema chiri cha South Mugrango baganete ko yatuka onsi ne karo bayikerere ya masi yimwe yo murubulio Kwana netaya nigo tukera libaga nigo komanye gati yali aganete kwanekiwa okopolo manya muchobulgiria nyereko bako kusanga mona intugo ika omweli kikingona sesemo yakabere ye studio ko ya ekamenyelio iliyo kumanya gati ya make na mange anyereko ba kwanekiwa kora sesemo yabalike baito bamangana kiniko kuri Cyrus Azizi no yega no mulubuli okwana netaya nime Etaya TV obarabu bogusi wanchomo ligereria karibu naendelio tusanga mona yoika omwelio na nigo tugo chaka na linye kobaga kwene kiwa ase bunge eneneli tuko legoro chinga kigati ya babunge besogetie na komocha enchera abayanyimbo bagutumika chinguru wetania ebirengo na mono kwana chinga kiecho niga babunge anene mono mubunge orarieda utiende amolo negati ya babunge bande bamochire enchera obutuki bwanyariko bakoira bwanyariko bakoiregeka komanya kirie kenye kobage koira amakweri aye Albert Ojwang nabo igo enchira abanyimbo bagandate gutumika chinguru chinyinga chinga kyabasae bagandate gwesokia ase chipara na munombo gotagatibo mucho Nairobi kuganda mamincha na makweri aye Albert Ojwang machobulira sasa mya kabara ya studio tutagrega tiye chinkwana chebabunge
assembly to go beyond the issue of getting a report from my POA and actually form a commission of inquiry to know exactly what transpired, that is supposed to be independent, that involves also everybody that is being mentioned. Honorable Speaker, there has been mentioned two gentlemen that come from my constituency. And Honorable Speaker, those young gentlemen who are actually cousins had been arrested because of a road issue, a traffic matter. They were released. And then when they went for their vehicle, Honorable Speaker, they were rearrested and taken in custody, and they are being forced to write statement. Honorable Speaker, I beg for this National Assembly to take the issue of police misuse and misconduct very seriously. Let us try as much as possible to correct the image so that, Honorable Speaker, as my sister has said, we have to ensure the credibility of our nation is beyond reproach.
Thank you. Otienda Molo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the response as read is grossly inadequate. But it is because of our system that we cannot expect our own colleague to give us sufficient answers, because he can only rely on answers that have been given to him. Mr. Speaker, the issue of Ojwang demonstrates monumental impunity and disregard to the Constitution and the law, to an extent that, as seen together with what happened yesterday, it demonstrates total anarchy and a danger of sliding to be a banana republic if we are not already there. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I would suggest that to ask our colleague to bring better answers is to give him a task beyond him, because he will not get better answers. He is relying on the same police who told us that this was an issue of suicide. There is no way they can give us any better answers. Mr. Speaker, I would suggest that if ever there was a case where we should consider constituting an ad hoc committee, because Ojwang's death demonstrates what happens every day, except it does not come to the limelight. I would suggest that, Mr. Speaker, you consider constituting an ad hoc committee to look into what actually happened, and also to look into what happens to other persons in similar circumstances, so that the police can be brought to order within the Constitution and the law. Mr. Speaker, there are so many gaps in that responses. Number one, for starters, we have been failed by IPOA. IPOA cannot, as the person investigating police conduct, attend a press conference where the police are explaining their own conduct. You cannot do that. IPOA cannot come and tell us that they have arrested people and they are prosecuting people for murder when the central suspect has not written a statement to date. How do you determine then who should be taken to court if you've not interviewed Eliud Lagat up to now? IPOA has failed us, and we must call them to order. The other failure, Mr. Speaker, is in response to what now happened, the public outcry. I read the statement of 16th June 2025 by the DIG Eliud Lagat, where he says he has voluntarily stepped aside. Mr. Speaker, there is nothing like stepping aside in law. I invite, Mr. Speaker, that we look at the National Police Service Act, we look at Section 17, we look at Section 95A. Under Section 17, the President can remove the DIG, can retire the DIG, or can redeploy the DIG. None of those can be done by the DIG themselves. Under Section 95A, the disciplinary process can only be done by a disciplinary committee of the National Police Service Commission. You cannot discipline yourself by saying you've stepped aside. What does that mean in law? Mr. Speaker, I want to suggest that this whole issue is a charade. If you look back to the questions that were asked, before you are arrested, you are supposed to be told why you are being arrested under Article 49. This was not an arrest. This was an abduction. And to use the word arrest, as has been used by chairman, is wrong. And if it was an arrest, you are supposed to be taken to the nearest police station. Why would you be taken 600 kilometers? And when you are taken to the station, then the OB is not recorded. At what point then are you told of the reason for your arrest? And then you are put in situations where you are clearly have been set up to be killed. Mr. Speaker, I think we owe it to this country, given what happened to Ojwang, given what happened to those who are demonstrating at what happened to Ojwang, to the extent that the same police are now escorting goons, we are in danger of sliding to a total banana republic. And if the executive cannot bring us back on course, it behoves this House to do so. Mr. Speaker, I suggest we establish an ad hoc committee.
And I will be doing that. Mr. Speaker, yesterday when I was speaking here, I was informed that the person who was shot yesterday, who unfortunately I'm told has died, I don't know if he has died, the one we are saying was shot by, is not dead. I'm happy to hear it's not dead, and I hope. Yes, that's just what I wanted to say, even though I still am appalled and I'm not happy by the way the police operated. It doesn't matter where he came from. Of course, it hits me more if it comes from Suba, because I was told yesterday it's from Homa Bay and Suba in particular. But I wish to tell the Suba people that he was not from Suba. We are still not happy that he was shot.
Ya sana mwancho bligili bione gati kusecheni gati Kwana chava bunge muno chinga ki chebi karo bi bunga seri tukuliria reigoro na nasokuruto ta roboti goro yemakwelia ya Albert Ojwang mwancho bligili kwenye ngomuri kitogero pita kurase county ya Nairobi kurase county ya Nyamira nigare standby kabono korange network yae ni bwatumu chando Joshua gandako ye arigania kabisa Kero abeire tayari nabo to kwamboka uika asare animo kuchese kaunti ya Nyamira elio komanye gati yareganete kwana kiwa yemase ya mukurase kaunti ya Nyamira gero pita onye ko nyigwete ngachire ko libageligeli otomanye ngana lia oganete korotota kurase kaunti ya Nyamira kaborongo manyigwanga rosie drum yao egere ugwenere gero nye ko nyigwete Rosia drum yao yabu kabisa karo togo cha sole tokenga upo sawa kabisa neko nyigwe togero Rosia drum yao iga egero to manyenga na lele gendete koene ki usukama iga ke gogero ngoma igwanga uko sawa lakini sukama iga kidogo gero to manyenga county ya Nyamira na lele gendete koene kiwa kurase county yo boigo korango muntu naro kabige toko boko ase kamera yao gero basi ngoma nyigwanga no lebiya ogero pita ngachire gambo kigo ikase county ya Nyamira tumena namo na ilio tumanyenga na lia aganate kone kigo ya masa ya makuru ase county yo ya Nyamira ogero
Ndimono sana Azizi kurwa sensemo ya kabere ye studio ekenen keringa lero igo ngagete kambia se wodi ya Nyamaiya igotoka se bunge ya West Mogrange county ya Nyamira ero korigire liga bana bananchi kurwa se chinseme chiga na asedeka ntetu kwaligania aba kansura bakabira bakansura bakuru kurwa se chinseme chiga mona bananchi kurwa se chinseme chibara konera ngo igoro ya abanyanyimbo chinga kia bananchi bakwe bagakorokoro bekana sense ito ya Kenya gosase county ya Nyamira baravuna abananchi kirokende birengere byabumbire bibye na boigo twabere tokora asamana bana bereka gokorekana somo cyo Nairobi ko watikana no kwa no gosira kwa umwalimu gose blogger yo manyere na Albert Ojwang kyo kule kwa kora sama na hichi kirokende bravo bago tema anene mono chinga kia bananchi bakoro bekana aba singali bamwenda kwa karibu sana mheshimiwa nataka serikali yao
Samaria tangoro kansura Alfred Mokongu Nyambati korwa wodi ya Nyamaya no na gambete naenda tole asomo chomiruka gesarate asole na abantu togokwana mangana ya igoro yobolende igonta geto kwa tebali tangani na obolende bwitu bwa Kenya bwabiro bobe anene mono asa maandamano ayanjire na constitution na kerumo mwana inchata togokwana mangana alia amurengete asa community usese gento gia failure constitution yetu anjirete kokora maandamano arayo molembe lakini asa maandamano ayo tokonyora na asa serikali yetu ya Kenya iye kuira komotikurwania abantu bakora maandamano bakonyara we expose their rights to the people igongo tabana serikali yetu ya Kenya ni bwata magosa asa maandamano buna ali akoru na robi abana baito bago itu na basikali barorekaine basikali mama yatie ntibabwena takokora story intu to baligete ebagwakano through our taxes abantu abana abaito toligete babwana takotolenda ne bankuru chinyomba chetu babwana takotolenda lakini bona responsibility abo gose keliba kebatungeti kokora una abasikali mbali gokora instead ebagokora with the powers chiana sana government digitally cheito
Oroche
oko request ya serikali ekere kurinda abantu bakora maandamano igasi yabo no yo gotwa security tokora maandamano yo mulembe baka twakora chiachenda jiri tobwata gochia ase serikali yetu ya Kenya tunyare gokonya
na kiro mubwate imani ne serikali chingake mokorokoro kaninga kero kende mbabe bakorenda omonto takora gento kigitasa gotigira ruchingo mekera twara abande baitirwa abande bakirwa masasi abande bachire mpaka abande babira abducted
bone ase serikali tobwate goikera bono iga mulembe toyo no mwananchi egekogera nturi gokonywa gogosangena kara tokana maandamano na kara tokobole gento kerigia kene togoitu n'abasikali genjerene nangaki mulembe toyo ase serikali tobwate gosi imani tiyo n'abasikali tobwate
inki kereke koru asa abasikali bari kero bachire mamincha ekera kero bataraenda asa maandamano ngoikuru bare parade batebenga ondeta basa gutumeka live bullet
abasikali aba kagerete kulingana n'elichiko ngotebigo bare abande bagatekia bakobeka excessive forces chiaba abanyene gutaka kweorokia mbali kumanyana aba bagodire na barobwe babekire babarende tibabekire babarase babwata gutumika ibyuma biri bayiri bibwana tagotorenda byakorera gutoita igenjerene tatabana gakimba bwana takorera ni gwa mafundisho nonde bwenzi urasangiwe okorege kora buneke goito mwana inti gose ko mise public abutwe gasi tali kwera ni we gasi akara komoira ni no comment mistake amagoso
omwerio na kioroche abasigari aba netakere ba uchi seminar bakoreru no na guidance and counseling gose muchando no rioko
omuchando monene ugotoka atichise mwajinga buna mwana chianyamira gogo sangia abasikali bago jitege twamenyata fo kurwa akachagete gasi bakoma chako kolera ororo enjere ndo musikali oyo manya gukorera koba a problem in a society igongo tabana ligentege tanga baba transferred within a very short period gine getanga egia kabere abasikali akera akolera magoso tigaba ligeri yakora lichikondro ororo aire luwe getambokero na mwana inchi onde bwensi kali above the law yeah
gemono inchoa chaka secretary
Marieta Nankuru Joseph Abuya, Sarata Yanyama Watch. Yes.
Inkura kwanere goro ya noroche chi abanyanyimbo mubwate o imani n'abanyanyimbo baito kingake abananchi basokera senge nju korobekana
Ntubwate imani amuna barabu naende nabatura besote abanga twara imani na serikali kogera ebintu by'abanyanyimbo bagokora under instructions ya serikali yerogeti ya serikali yorogeti n'abana bagwitwa abanagenzi ekero tokorigereria serikali yerogeti nabo bayebegete n'amatumaini amanene lakini bona ebintu bagokorerwa taibiri babete promise igo ekero bakwandamana nigo bakwandamana korengana n'ebintu biri batebetigwe bitaibo igo bono bire maminja biri batebetigwe ekero bari gwakira serikali
ekero korigereria aigwikira bona igase serikali n'amandamano agendeta somucho Nairobi amandamano arabira county ya Nyamira county chinde nakekero korigeria abasigari kero basokire ngo abara abananchi right yabo yo gukora demonstration so korobekana
bari koba no ene kero bago chati baigocha una abasigari eko yaro konyora betu bete yaran twara no aneri no an koti njate bange kero abasigari bako ende miremo bagwena tubabeke kinamba kiri kyabo service numbers kiri kyabo egera bakole emirimo yabo ina transparent man age gotoka bakorere gentekebe nalyo koranga musikali kyokora lakini ingenje lyo konyora bebisete gokonyora bagojorora taimirimo myaba cyagokora no gotoita
omweri asoko korera kero kende no gwitinya kwe birengere basigari baitu babwate yekwerera mbaka oranga babwate bunya obo manyabantu ime yabo kero korigiringa konyora musikari akora so monto igokonyoranga no ebirengere babwate ogwitanya kwe birengere byose
okay ibintu ebingo konyora nsa chinde sokorora kwane gora nyore nga babekere pressure naende nonye working conditions cyabo na giro jinjiri ko bangiye abantu umuntu ororanga tiga kole gasi ngenje kabire yo egere batu mise ngenje kabire butwaro che litukoria igora ali Nairobi abo kwa konyora umusikali agokora routine orojo musikali yonyenderia bwatu umusaro isaine buya naende gatoka na working conditions cyayo mbuyagire nabara biso kolega cyayo professional nabara bokora nga condition ba kolega zinchiringiya nakiye ko era bono ba kore emirimo n'engerere yoboke bawe iko baise working conditions kyabo gise ko ba improved na bara baise ko kasi yabo ina professional man
omwerio maete serikali nere torendite na abananchi ba Kenya iraba nga twatari titango na barabu igo ensenga kieko ba
ensege ko sira bono no ensi bo wos na bajigo jaka kyare bibage binge bono go biunga pero biungire biswa ko ruwania serikali bono bokonyora nge serikali ya gure
biamono sana atiga tonyoro yo monere mwaka kwana ngo chaka secretary aligiriria chaka secretary tigo bwateru mike ligiriria
isobo gembo nambega
na kiroche serikali yegwikira bono iga
yatura bakong abakong no boiga okanya botuko omusabe shanga na wananchi babwatu na abaibi bali oja bono iga abakanji chiro chi county kwate nduwoti esibatu tandepi nafungua hapa usiku mkambia taiyo mjote okay nyandere esikali abo na nkongu tutale ni twana baito mbakaso
asante Azizi mnagwatekere kwigwa n'abananchi kurwase chinseme chiga chibodi ya nyamaiya ibunge ya West Mogirango babire bakore ibirengere byabo anene mono kinga kichiga babire bakorigerenga ekero abananchi bakorobekana na kero kende igo baganitie serikali kwene kiabere ko keko bawulindi elinde bere sekiagira mbanje irene katiba abo igo twabere tokoranga ase chiburuburu cyabere chikwene kiwa ebintu nebinge bigokolekana bono yatigere kuba amaswali kurwase abananchi bense ya Kenya na nemno kurwase county ya Nyamira bakobolinga onyarende basemereti nga mbanyoro bolende kurwase ekekozi gose abanyanyimbo ine nakira anyarekane basoke kweresera gose gokorokorobekana ko mulembe kyagara mbanjire ne katiba abo igo nyana se county ya Nyamira bintu nebinge byabere bigokolekana bitkolia Etaya twabatokora umono gilbe bunge ya Nyamira umuske Dadios Nyabaro yobo igo kabiru mwemse kwa se wodi ekerenye bunge ya North Mogirango babiri bakukwanira bagwikie umuswada kwe budget ya se bunge ya Nyamira kabiko twaroche bakotaka entangani ase kikarokia entangani na umono gilbe bunge ya Nyamira asabe bigakukwanira igoro ya engana ya yenene no kwene kinga erengole taro murembe ase bunge ya Nyamira kwene kinga obereka kumusaba aba MC bali kuba se bunge mashinani gocha boy kwegati ya babunge ababetu bakwikirana kuba se bunge ya mashinano mu bunge kuba se wodi agachube bunge akitutu masabu mheshimiwa Henry Ogwaya mwense kuba se wodi ya kumwagabo Julius Matwera ngati ya MC bali kuba se nabuka babetu bakuba se bunge mashinani iko kuba se kulia lero ni bekingo molekera amangana yokwene kinga umwana umutakano obereka konyora obokonyi kurwase chinseme chiga chia nyamaiya ntubeta kumanya umwanchu murigiringa narariaya kurwase chinseme chiga Azizi
buya sana ogero Peter timaiti Joshua gusogero nara sense meyanga nato manyanga bikaro bie county bitanga nikegima byo mulembe ndabiroke ase county ya Nyamira ngaki byarenge anganaerera usu timaiti ogero nyakonyugwete asama tuka mango gero twabere tokorra okuburukana ase county ya Nyamira gukwanira gutwara chi assembly bere na krokende ase boniga magaye kigambiro kuna changa mheshimiwa Thaddeus Nyabaro obeire bono gako raliwa bene buna mo speaker krokende komira ni naba menyi cross county ya Nyamira krokende bono baisanikire nenchira ekigambiro kene tuko bage kunacha na kerekere bire byabo nga mbire biga bono guchiase abarai babo geronye konyugwete krokenda ngankwaira neria bera tato igoro iyo bokoreri bono bwe county assembly ya Nyamira ne krokende okonyera kwa bananchi ngoro kyoko igachingaki ebikaro bikoirana kagima ase bunga ogero kabisa onye konyigwete ngachiringira na sore orasi nini anmono gukwanira igoro bono morembo beira se county ya Nyamira toirane Thaddeus Nyabaro is now the speaker bimana sana ogero ngachiringi cha sore gero to manyingara ya raro koi kumanyigwanga ogero pito koranga kurasesemo ya kabiri tara tatoigweti koranga ogero pita no nyigwete kurwa bwase county ya Nyamira kirokende buya sana niko nali kubolinga county ya Nyamira ya twalire obokongu anamono gukwanira mangana ye county assembly kirokende birengere bya bananchi komere na mbire bye biga korengana no kuirane ndukwe bikaro bene ase county yo ya Nyamira ogero
Gavana sana Azizi tunakuwa chekire kuboli nelinga wikira bonega abananchi base county ya Nyamira kirigi atikere neliba kwa kesabunga kirokenda maboli ya Amerika kotikara nelinga ine abananchi kose abeshuma bali balenga se bunge mashinani babe bakoira na ase bunge ya Nyamira elio bakole emeremo ase njira yo bwamo nabo igwenyoranga ase kikarege tanga nekimo speaker kosoma no bunge ya Nyamira mosiketa Dius Nyabaro maeganyeke kambero kyambo met akumwanjira na kwewe gazeti ya mone serikali yenene nikabetika kora ibikaro byeli tukulia Jumanne abwase aba MCA kuruba aba MCA bali bakonya babira se bunge mashinani ikati yabo mu MCA kuruba se wodi ya gachulo mheshimiwa Henry Ubwaye mu MCA kuruba se wodi yabo mwagamo mheshimiwa Julius Nyangana na ingati yaba MCA babere boka babete bako gwikirana ase egeikareko igo ntobe toko bwati kerokende abananchi ngibako teba igoro ya yogo chama kwa MCA na gochaka eligo korera abananchi be county ya Nyamira amagenderero
Yamono sanmuri kitogero Peter sugutumanya egati yalegandete koenekiwa korwa se county ya Nyamira gero Peter bono ngachire ngotigagara uroto tegati yalegandete koenekiwa na tuganyire tana mono koigwa korwa se county yo ya Nyamira Joshua bono nganje tuskebosio muri kitonde karache tumanye ko suka uchia sari kobono mochobrilia ngachire nkomanye aliagandete koenekiwa chingaki abo University ya Machakos banyateko ba bogoika osio we committee eyo tenete kisemi ase okotema kuruto tegati yobokrili we university eyo nenchira no neniwe kunyara ko bake gutumekwa na boigo enchira borokiwa bakonyora obokrili kurasi university eyo ya Machakos umonchobugilia na kitusuka ke guchesa semanya kabari studio to merni gati yale nyatko baga ko enakiwa chingaki oboteneli University ya Machakos banya tukababugo ikabosio we committee elia etenete chisemi anoma ukwanira committee yebunge.
One, there are two issues here.
Yes, Chair.
The issue number one is advance provision as per advance payment. Okay?
Yes.
We want you to tell us it is backed by what law? Issue number two, you paid in excess by 20%. Is that the case, Auditor?
Yes, that's the case.
Yeah.
Chair, what is meant here is that we are supposed to pay 20% if we are to pay in advance.
One by one. You paid in advance.
Yes.
Before services were offered.
Yes, Chair.
What law protects you?
The one that where if we have a contract, then
just which one? The Disposals Act or which one?
The section 98(2) of the PFM regulations 2015 allows.
No, just wait. Section
98(2) of the PFM. Yes, 2015 allows advance payment of goods and services as long as it is provided in the contractual terms and conditions contained in a valid contract signed between the procuring entity and the supplier, and that is what we use to pay that. Yeah.
We want the contract.
Yes, Chair, we have supplied.
And we want anything and everything relating to the procurement of the contractor, for that matter.
We have provided, Chair.
All the documentation from advert to valuation, how it was arrived at.
I believe the procurement officer and the finance officer, because when it comes to payment, the finance officer must participate in payment. And he must have looked at the law. And the procurement officer, because when you go to 146 and 147, 146 is just a prerequisite, a high opener. But when you go to 147, it further give direction how it's supposed to be. 146 is supposed to be a priority.
And shall be paid upon submission by the successful tenderer to the procuring entity of an advance payment security equivalent to the advance itself, and the security shall be given by a reputable bank or authorized.
Where is the security?
We don't have one.
So, do you know the reason why a security should be given?
Yes, Chair.
Why? What is the reason?
In case there is default in the services of the goods being provided.
Okay. Why did you allow? Why did you process payments without conditions being met?
Chair, even if you go to all other institutions,
don't go to other institutions. We are auditing Machakos University, Madam Vice Chancellor.
Okay, Honorable Chair.
Yeah.
What happens is that if we don't pay, then we don't get the service.
No, but they have to follow the law. For you to award them a contract, they have to pay security. And by the way, it's not only it's everywhere. They call it bid bond, they call it performance bond, they call it security. You must pay. Is there a place where we are not understanding, where we are not catching up with one another? Where is this missing up? If the contract expired in 2020, and today is 2025.
We extended the contract, Chair, and that's what I've...
You extended the contract after it had expired. Because if you had extended it after it had expired, then it means it's illegal. You breached the law, and it's an abuse of office. So if this contract had expired and you didn't renew it before the expiry of this one, that it means everything and anything after that is unlawful.
You say the project is 72% complete, but you're paid 47% in terms of money, 46%. But in completion, it's 72%. I'm not getting. Is the contractor working without pay?
Honorable members, we will defer this to 2 weeks. And this specific question, when you come with every information concerning this contract. And when I say every information, when there are extensions, there are procedures to be followed, there are approvals to be given, okay, by respective holders, by the council, okay, or the accounting officer. Please come with every information about this and come with the legal team. And come with the project managers, all the engineers dealing with this project. So give us the contacts, honorable members. We surcharge all of them, money back, and the principal contravenes Section 46 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act by using her office to...
Yes, hano mwancho mulili kione kengese kegati ya lanya tukabaga kwene kwa chinga kiwo teneli bo University ya Machakos bonya takaba bogo ikirana bosio bwe committee yekisemi anamno gukonera kamati ya yebunge yo kulielia amangana yekisemi me yense mwancho mulili na kumanyanga nigo tugukwanira enkwana iguru ya police brutality and blame games na bego mwancho mulilia gukwanira iguru ya abanyanyimbo gutumeka chinguru chinyinge gwetania ekerengo gukwanira enchira yokora sano nabantekero barase okurubekana asenchereta wenereti kegarana kumanyeritang'aninga egati abanyanyimbo bari babere banyareko babakumurasa uria rekord chimask chinga kichokurubeka kana so mucho Nairobi niko banya kwa bako soerwa na niko bago chia wiki obosibwe kambiro gose niko baigeti obosibwe kambiro abo asegati yabalia bako baegera gose gukwanira aba advocate banya taka bago kana ngabarabo gose client abega babo kolengana na ba wakili tibanya taka bako ruta research boncho mugelia nigo tokwenda sisemu ya kabiri ya studio tumira negati yebirengererio kurwa subu katikati bomochio obosongo igoro yenchira abanyanyibo bagotumeka chinguru wetania kerengo na boigo egati ya abamenyi bomochio obosongo boigo nigo bakwana irenchira bataliro gosemeria ase serikali ya William Samoei Ruto roboti rwalganati gono yominto Diana Komboka gisoi yamasayemo nigo tokumira negati ya abamenyi kurwa ase omochio yo obosongo abo bagukwanira igoro yenchira abanyimbo bagotumeka chinguru chinyinge icho chietanetie ekerengo.
It's very unfortunate that we lost such a young person, Ojwang. The government that is supposed to protect us is the one that is abducting and killing the young people of this country. It's so unfortunate, and the president of this country should own up for his mistakes and ensure that the police service is transparent and serves the people of this country.
Tali nyuwete biaso kwana but ndagete message yekira umuntu responsible. Unabone kese ke gyari party kegenderete Nairobi in fact bakanoni ntuga igas tokirete ga stage we know ntuma itamanga naye akarusi kwa mape ya Kairu Nairobi bona akweta ari mocheri ekingi yago torokia kara abaskari bako na ubago tolinda lakini kwa nyoranga lichi kombali manyeti mpaka bako ko monto lisasi osibako ngento monta sese mpaka bone kesi ya babwatire mpaka igoro no chegente kayenderete roja mandamana alenge Nairobi mwana biashara yo kayari kon chi mask wakirulisasi umutugoro bosaigo egente ke bona so monto chiete skuru agasoma igote something kayenderete Kenya ase idara ya police te isarikech igonga amafunzo naratakira manto bagora kine batari konyora talia inare gokwanoka ndagete gotebanga amandamana ale 25 akara mandamano peaceful demonstrations na ande batige media bakore coverage chingia na into no tokale maga ya cheni sequence bino tole maga ya media tolige mna bago cover onde tayo ko bwata bintu bya monta anyu bosene chisoda bosasa limtu bya monyene etokale peaceful go demonstrate ense Kenya ngima baka no mwana olenda imotara iboru in fact ritu kali kanyegere
no in fact ndore na mayanda gasi ane no ngokorera gaiga lakini gentekete go twanyono bwo bata basinyo kore gasi ekero konyoru monta kuimuki kurumuayo bege tobo kimanza atagete koria una koirumba kasa koiruo chigoite ruororo is very painful in fact igentekie geshege tikenyengi masraj na ande ntori na morembe na serikali ya Ruto in fact monta gwa kure kwerigeria risasi bono kurwa bunga kiara nyore gya korioroje njera teyo igo abantu baminto tobekanamo serikali engo toitere tige toitonye go toita twenzi lakini eso egendo ngenga Ruto aende nyumba bono buna intu abantu bagusiga vijana ngo support inde jeni sana kurumaega bane no mone na kende lakini nene ngo support inde segasi bakora in fact no tore maega nande ya matiangi abantu baminto mwezi mubwate bande matiangi na totagete.
Mimi nasema hivi as a mom ni vibaya sana by the way. Ojwang mliona venye ametolewa Homa Bay mpaka Nairobi. Babaka anatoka na title deed kutoka Homa Bay hadi Nairobi akiexpect atapata mtoto wake akiwa sawa. Askari nyinyi ndio mnafaa kutulinda lakini ona vitu mnafanya kitu ili happen hapo CBD Nairobi. Mtu ako na mask anajitafutia hustler hata hakuwa na kitu yoyote. Ukiona anaweka mkono hivi hiyo mkono mwingine ilikuwa nyuma. Akianguka chini hiyo mkono iko na mask. Surely hakuwa hata anarudishia kugonga mtu. Sasa iko hivi. Gen Zs kama una ID saa hii hebu shika ID. Hiyo siku ikifika kutoka huko juu hadi huko chini wote nje hatutaki kujua mwenye tutachagua kama atafanya vizuri ama vibaya lakini tunataka kubadilisha kila kitu kutoka huko juu hadi huko chini. Tarehe 25 mnajua mahali tunapatana maji mask simu hakuna kupigana hivyo tu.
Mangana haya wankumeti sana na inde chichenzi ntoriko chikuanja togendera gusarirwa marieta na serikali ya nene serikali ya Ruto kurwa igabosongo ntutotenga Ruto omomrori wage tulisasi aba ngwana balini go batometu na Ruto bache goita abantu kiagera basigari bali abande bebisete babisete obosio chipikipiki chasambetu chirine chipikipiki cyarenge abantu bakanire gusariria abana boda boda amalieta ngana abana boda boda bagwe sambira chipikipiki.
Ingawa alitoa ule mwingine jana alimwambia ajiuzuru, tunajua mbinu yake, alimwambia songe kando, tunajua mahali atamalizia.
lazima siku hata yeye amchukue ndani, sheria ifuatiwe mpaka mwisho.
Ntubwato mochando gaiga Kenya tinde bana mbia tole lakini nche nkumetie ekero omonto akobwatwa omo Kenya otari omoganda otari mo Tanzania ntubwate richiko Kenya liko meki tomenye buya ekero abasikari bakoru Nairobi ne chigari chibrado bachikobwata omonto otabwati gosorinde amagana y'emitandao abantu nabange bakorika oyu tari muntu mutang'ani korika omotandao igoro y'oboibi mbogendererete naende eki nekene tari gento kere borimo naki kiagerete bagachika bakamuoya rigere oboibi obuo mbomanyikana inche ngoteba iga na amagosa amanene buna omogusii naende inche ninyigwete bobe mono which means na richiko ria Kenya ndiri gokora gasi enjere ebwenerete inche ngokagera ng'omonto kabwatirwe n'omosikari abwenete koirwa kotini agambigwe ekera akoirwa kotini naende ochigoitwa egento eki ngekogokia omo Kenya riorio igo togochikoba buna Somalia totabwatia serikali etogochikoimokeria atwa abasikari babe chienemi lakini inche ngoteba iga inyore serikali ya Samuel Ruto gegoita abantu egesagu kenga buna eke njira teyo toratwara amani na serikali eyo inche buna omoibori igo ndatebe ng'a maandamano igera abengiya naende maandamano ibwenete kogenderera baka omonto oyo otomete abasikari baria ero omonyene ostakiwu naende osibirwe ase enjira erorekaine igo ngoteba ng'a abakenya mwensi esi mwabeta sana buna gusiga iga igo ndatebe ng'a simbarati tiga gwanja abanto baje gusii gotobwata buna aye gabana yaito egento buna eke giakorekanete Omabei onangamba achiete Omabei basitaki omonto oyo oro bamobwate bamobeka amahakama ya Omabei inche buna omogusii korugusiga iga ngoteba ng'a egento eki ngekorekana ase oborai bwa simbarati ebinto buna ebio tobasi gwanja buna omogabana abantu babwatwe korugusii bachikong'entwa
twachandekire nonya na ebinto bikong'ete yani togochigo kwana nonya nkende omonto kwaigwa gwaitirwe ntotamaeti ngi togoiterwa buna abanto baito Nairobi bauretwe ebinto tokumeti togokura Kenya kieye rutata wancharwa obisi omonto ogochigo kwana iga kwanyora kwabutoirwe ebigoti naki bono tokomenya.
Tunapata ripoti hapa watu wetu wanakufa wengi, wanaumia, serikali inashika watu sijui nini vitu kama hizo. Unajua kazi ya askari ni kulinda wananchi. Wacha tulindwe na askari. Hii mambo sijui askari ameshutu mwananchi, sijui mwananchi ameenda amekufia kwa police cell, hiyo mambo si mzuri. Kwa hivyo serikali ifanye kazi yao, ilinde wananchi, mambo ya kuumiza wananchi hapa na pale ihakikishe kwamba imeisha. Na kama kuna maaskari ambao wanatekeleza unyama pale kwa station, waache upumbavu, wajue wanatumikia Wakenya na Wakenya wanawategemea kwa upande wa ulinzi. Kwa hivyo hatujafurahia sana na vijana wetu wanakufa, wengi wameuliwa kwa cells pale, mwingine anashutiwa, wengine ndio hao wanapotea hata wajepatikana mpaka wa leo. Mambo kama hayo hayatufurahishi sisi kama wakazi hapa Kisii, na tungeomba serikali iangalie maneno, itengeneze, manake serikali ndio tegemeo la mwananchi wa kawaida.
Etaya TV Oborabu Wagusi
Omwanchumuriria Vuni Etaya TV ntogenderete gukine birengo byobokoreri bwito gocha semole ikena kukeirire Etaya TV koene kebuna kiro monto ingo tonyorare a sorogongo Rwagusi isako babuna togo tonyora CTV gosede kode yao buna botambe na bukurisika nainde iryo tonyore voigo na bugutumira ujumbe ensemole ase namba yeito ere ase ETV yago inyora ubona bubura butua korenteire na inde ntogendere gokoretera Etaya TV uburabu Wagusi
twakorire tugukigukua na kende no enkende ngaya tigana into to comment kende keronge iga twanyora abana baitu baniaro irunise baraire bone tosinyire ng'akitogokora abagambi baita muri chichao twete chikura korwa omobuko ng'akitogokora gaki twarusetie kadi togakubekerera ukaenda echo ikaransitorocha abana baitu baendete koininteruise ebimure ebimo tete gokora pia gesaku kia mambi ng'aikere abakungumbirero tore no tore enchera tokorera muna abasacha muna enchende singo timbwati omusacha timbwati kende
ina kwabere gukurigia chibel sha mitumba ao asarigori oranyare kwikeria mama tefi mitumba neduka embo kegima asomo chobosongo ya chirenkuma asokonia bells ao asarigori oranyare kwikeria mabwate bunabono jackets, school bags, mixed bags, hoodies, baby light, house towels, ibikoro tubyabana kwikabanta bane, curtains amone bindebinge. Inyora, ibyonsi niko birase kerengo kya grade 1, kuruchise cha Canada, UK, USA amona China. Boigo, nkorobara mayigiri yogo chase bali batagetigo cha bakoro bonchoreria bwa mitumba. Niko bagotuka Kisi Town Imperial Building, ground floor opposite St. Jude's Building.
Karibu mama tefi mitumba, emisigo yaitogere misigo grade 1. Imesigo mia na ndi mesigo tokwana na siligo lilirense sana ekaroro magani kunyara tuli kwa mafundisho ngana kiwone to chake biashara bya mitumba naenda abange siko gali nkwibuli balenga nimbwate bibesa bikeigo nkinda nyare ko bagingokora wakalibishirwa asema matefi mitumba oti ni chibesa chiriyo bwate elinde tunyare ko batowikaransa tunyare ko manyanga musigo kyota kere ko bagogo chakera oyoro muya ligoli lili kasi chiriyo bwate igobono kera nyare kana ngano bwate chiri busano elibusita tuikaransa nkari ko bolinga inkina akore
asamange bakirisimi namba 0727081605 gose 0727574835 niko bakwigora amatukonse jeiki mama tefi mitumba obokorero bya bwa mitumba origene. Kisii County Government amonega tengo kia finance, economic planning, ICT services and revenue management iko baku kwarigania omwanchwa as a public participation asokurebiringi rigor ye county finance bill 2025 iywera chakitariki 14 wigitariki 19 omutinyo gwatano limo omwaka yoiga nigo murubiri yoiga orachiko korekana bune kobwatia tariki 15 omutinyo gwatano limo sub county ya Machoge barabu nera korekana ya Kenya CDF Hall sub county ya Bobasi igera korekana ya Nyamache County Hall Machoge chache Amono Gembo Municipality nigera korekana ya Ogembo Town Hall ochaka chinsa isato weka chinsa isane bere chiamo baso Chikumisa na ibere nigera korekana sub county ya Nyaribari chache Keumbu Social Hall as sub county ya Nyaribari Masaba Amona Keroka nigera korekana ya Masimba CDF Hall South Mogrango nigera korekana imea Youth Empowerment Center chionsi kwa chaka chinsa isato weka chinsa isane bere chiamo baso tariki 19 isato omotinyo yigo mwako yiga ime sub county ya Kitutu Chache North nimea County Office Hall Kitutu Chache South County Office Hall Bonchari imea Suneka CDF Hall ochaka chise isato weka chinsa isane ibere asi sub county chionsi tariki 19 omotinyo yiga na sub county ya Kisii Town ibera korekana imea Culture Hall ochaka chise isato weka chinsa isane ibere chiamo baso mwense mwariganigwe. Wima Electricals ni duka ambalo linauza vifaa vya elektroniki vya matumizi na ukarabati kama televisheni, woofer, nyaya za stima, sockets pamoja na extensions, balbu za aina tofauti zikiwemo zile za ukuta, mashine za kunyoa, pasi ya nguo, blender na bidhaa zingine nyingi. Watembelee katika mji wa Kisii, jumba la Gusii Plaza, room number 2J. Wima Electricals, bei nafuu ya mfukoni.
Welcome to Hurricane Academy Kisii, a modern mixed day and boarding school offering CBC curriculum at preschool, primary and junior secondary levels. It provides a serene learning environment, enough qualified teachers, modern facilities such as library, computer and science laboratories, classes and dormitories, playgrounds and accessories, and they nurture talents and excel in sports, and their scholars are picked and dropped home. To secure a chance for your child, visit us at Yatwenya, Kisii Maran Road, 2 kilometers outside Kisii town, or call 0755 331318. Hurricane Academy, the future is here.
nuga nizikonyore mashini yekerero yogosona chianga gose gosibia Kigali bono Gusi Star Shop naryo lichiburyago nigo bwate machine buna bono pusher mill machines, generators, car wash machines, submersible pumps, gasoline water pumps, compressors, welding machines, lawn mowers and brush cutters, workshop tools and machines buna bono, grinders, drills, circular saws, demolition breakers, batteries amunebi ndewinge nigo babwate qualified staff member abago ko manyigoro ye machine ya oraganie nigo bagotuka Kisii Town Gusi Plaza room number 6 boiko babwatoro sagironde angena Family Bank asamange bakere simyase namba 0731 224000 gose 0796 477853 Gusi Star Shop, a total one-stop tools station.
Etaya TV, Oborabu Wagusi.
Karibu sana mwancho mwaligereria sentunda ya kabire ya se tokumulikire Kwana ya bene abo se tokumulikira ngana sumuntu bwekanya mbuliro bakurukanga police brutality and blame games mwancho mwaligereria tamaitu osino maite blame game mkendoki blame game ase kosino kurterana twarorera abantu bago itukwe gunyarebe okweba changanje ati ndioga kwa se story eyu buna bona kwego abawakili baba nyanyimbo bali barasete munkwano yo muri rekoni chimaski kinga kichukorobekanerie ta kaliuki batebire buna barabo kurengana barabo client kiabo nkeli involved ase okorasa ikitugo jiko boli wakili nga ndabona nuna abawakili mokale kwegerera mpaka vyonse lakini nendo jikoma nyanga kirende bago chibatokora and we will wish to understand obakora libwa banyanyimbo ngakibobona tekoba ngai ingikibona tukwirira for instance ukora sukumuntu risasi tobolekire boiga makweli Albert Ojwang ekikegerete abasaya abananchi bakanda takorobekana mono ase omochoria Nairobi kuno nabamenyi kurase rongora Gusi barule birengere byabo batebirenga barabwo kurengana barabwo abanyanyimbe bakale gotumbeka chinguru chinyinge gwetania ekerengo na nigo bakubolia serikali ya William Samoei Ruto koesokia na koenekianga ngokorera para abananchi babemeremo na tali okubaita kurengana na ebengeri bya abananchi nabo igomba kwa negoro ya stepping aside tujikomanya kurase wakilinga step aside ekniki bon what should be done ekaro kwanyolirwe orasili limocho una umunyanyimbo osomoteneli kwanya bwabanyanyimbo kuna bono the deputy IG Yuri Lagat biona saro mocho muliria tete ko bali gania bageni bane ya masayemo gare tosangamo na barabo kurwalia niko tobwate just asunyari tanda sa polisi mu county ya Nyamira karibu sana
asante
wante betinga Nairobi kwali kurugoro watemire
embe mono na
watema goika
chibwata mange akirire ndugu ya Yesu nanjete ndo igete biya
wow
andire ndera ona ikira ochaporanga kia sisi agendrete ni Etaya TV egera to eresiri na you atebete. Also we are here to give you what you are asking us.
Yeah, sure.
And I believe ngo mwakiro minto minto na jiro komanya lero biega ni maete is full of knowledge about lichiko. Me am only in the know of about the politics and what is going on in the ground. Lakini amangana ili chikaro Anjira bonda abensi tiki yaya egere tanjeso. Iko mutaite ko timu mutegere lyo mintu we Etaya TV na gusingi manya mira na busungu na wa diaspora. Bategere Etaya TV ngambi ya mono karibu sanga mangana ya to ko semania ngana ki ingi kire to kolekera ya korteki. Ale jeno nyari tandasa justice kurwalia mokonge nyama ya ward. Bia mono.
Thank you so much wakili, karibu sana naye.
Thank you.
Kona na bango kusogeliga.
Thank you bana Aziz.
Kwani mwanjumuliria manyekani ngayukuro tumenye kuchakasi njira yaban.
Bia mono. Chenkoro kumokaya John Momanyi na momenye okitutu chache South Korugoge Kaward and I practice wakili kisi within the High Court of the Republic. Kwa ni abantu baitanje akokego chaseta bia mono mwani.
Bia mono.
Justice. This one is from a leader perspective. It is not all about Richi Kolende. We saw one MP of Kaspul, Ngondo Were, Kurasuliza Jesu Mucho Nairobi. And in a span of 24 hours, we almost had each and every point on how makweli anyataka wakako paka munemo tupaike mabwate. Lakini umusawa yo mazelieta Albert Ojwang okule ase mawako ya banyanyimbo kwanda se egetaseni kanene sana. By the way mense itu ya Kenya kamenya karibu na Central Nairobi. Ngane yikaya it is taking too long kumanyanga how was the whole thing done. What we only know is he was taken from Homa Bay akakwera Nairobi. To me that's what I know. Ntomanye to kwikira boni gankiringa yondela gat na literi ube doko step aside. Kolengana na ibuno murai. Do you think abaraye bakwa priority mono kubwa uyo kurawa?
Litano nintebe family yo mwalimu Aripat John. Uyo tekire kurara wetira so kokoliko mysterious. The teaching fraternity na mwakenyo ndewensi asale sayabeta nseyonsi asayabeta naba neno ko neli ujo ngana ki ngaki yanyalika neto mwana oyo olengo moke asiriyo bugima bwaye esenjirita it surrounded no gotamanyikana yani uboturuka bokoreteki uraroro igobona ase umurugi oyo lyoye no mwana oli atigete na ise na family yabo yonse jena tebire pole nande ntebeiga ogwate bangekero musike Ngondo Wera kwete in a span of 24 hours. The flow of events buna akilisa asi bakabuna bachiko ba arrested oyalenge so chronological that it took a shorter time to apprehend those who did the act. But ibone keregocha on this other side of a normal citizen, we are seeing a difference. But let me say this. And I do not want tintagitive and to minto but to understand the bobe balito to kurunga warai ngabono ngato togotema ko biseke maine litangani kenjire yo mono yo oro mwalimu. Don't call him just a program. This is a teacher.
Yeah, sure.
Trained as a teacher and absorbed by Teacher Service Commission. Yeah, sure. Teaching a given school. Who traveled to go arre family and he was just picked. Enjire you are picking enjira kwete kero muntu na bema shocket. Gora go ikara no nyamboniga ndura aro kiwe post yeto gotebe gwali geta se Twitter at the X page ndura yimanya neri but let us not really cast aspersion so much out of no go to bwate ase serikali tutige kwebanga ebintu mbire bigasa ne kokoleka. Najua mugara muwe na haki yake mpe. Yes, we have seen unaba mate ndio kwa garo bwacha ninjire serikali ya mate korokoro ya serikali tali digante benga abaskali bali ba aso mumurumu ngwano yasirirete enjira basoete ko statement endangani ko ngainireria egotaka gukava naki ekogera abantu baito abantu bakoigotwara obororoko bori naki iga no motagete motokore iga bono kwanyora ng'a omochando no okorwera igo enchera bagokora ebinto enchera bakorete obutuki igoro ya omwana oyo buna asirete terikororokana ng'a nere consistent nere bakorete ase omochumbe yamana koroki ng'a iga egapu nero kati yabarai no mwananchi lakini to me igonte goteba ng'a we nabo tokogenda ase street nabo togocha to the media nabo togote even the churches or pulpits or we are to seek for justice and we talk loudly saying we want every Kenyan to be treated equally. But then that one does not call for those who have rogue minds in the yogotaka go create a bad picture as a government and yet election go ya eretekare omanyete tigatoti go bochi no bochoni serikali ni iregeti a marking scheme to bwenete kogendera korosi inga kiaba serikali yenki yakolire igo yatebete kero yali go campaign barabu extrajudicial killing ite koba in their time but we are experiencing it so we need to mark bono okay to so ekorwana njiriri to korwana dika to watch it for peaceful protest for justice oba mwana oyo osirire to bono kwarorire another a group of leaders who are initiated to have brought guns on the streets bakaburukana and you even saw the vehicle chia baskari chiko by escort you saw what happened.
Yes sir.
It really pains. Yes, it really pains.
Thank you so much wakili. Kwa gure tandasa ko tabanga serikali neregeti marking scheme is being waited. Does it mean rero iga serikali yerarusigo abanyanyimbo barabuko sino batigalete mirere na mirere the only thing keko kurunugurusia babare elected leaders does it can go change in case we have different leaders for instance.
I honestly believe if we had better leadership in terms of people who are accountable, sorry, to the family. Keregen to muna keria okorekana. Otali monto nyorira agaitu para, gose agaitu nebibago, agaitu understand. I mean, he was picked by police officers. All the way driven in a government vehicle to Nairobi, agaitua. So it should not take us a long time. Only that, the president, so to say, only wrote a message, I mean, a small a draft, akaweka for the press. He didn't think it was important to even issue a press and ask these police officers to be accountable. I mean, at the end of the day, every accountability, responsibility is with the government because the officers are part of government. The police officers, right? We believe in the leadership yarengo a bit concerned. I mean, we would have had the time, for instance, let me say, Ngakia Matiangi. Wakaigulenga when he was the CS, Omonto Itiru, Gosea bandits, Chetiravanto, Asigete, Nandi Hills. He would be there the next morning, he would give an account. That's the leadership. Leadership ekonyara koba responsible. But now, Kero Montaki, we are not seeing them interested. The police are playing tricks on Kenyans. Because Mbamanye thing at the end of the day, the CS, I mean, for interior, he has not even issued a statement. He has not told us he went to parliament. So what he was hiding, giving us stories. So I think we need responsibility, and it's bitter. It's making Kenyans feel bitter. In terms of economics, I mean, we feel the leadership is failing us. Yes.
Sure, because people are claiming people need justice in Kenya. Yes. That is the reason as to why the major thing they are seeking for justice. According to Chiko, the whole scenario
the first thing you see, we have suspects from the person today. They say the complainant, defamed, is the police DIG. So if the police DIG complain, rero assume muntu chire police station kolikanga mugambi komo threaten yole ngo moitore mambi asire you know ose umugwachire complain against jarebe say then asire the first suspect is the person complaining. That is for to the lay person of course there some other circumstances may happen but to the lay person muntu mutanga nyoka ba suspected no li obegete oli omogechete sibona benga kerogeche to muntu asire na yoka be suspected but we saw the tricks they were playing Kenyans actually kinto ke koroki kitanga ni ngambale ngibile ngo chago tongaina so that was the first statement. So legally what would happen is investigation should commence. AOB, they indicate in their OB, so those videos. Then after that, the old senior officers who handled the deceased, all of them are suspects because he was within Amagokabo. All the yes. So
we are moving on well. Tete ko understand asa ko manyikura sasa mo yakabiringa ko koruto terabale mic yao lakini tuna understand asa meanwhile kuna intoba Kenya we've seen ukosira kwa bantu since 2024 people are being killed. Recently tokarano nyene media stations, one of the media stations bringing out a video koroki even the responsible killers Babasai Gen Zs during the 2024 finance bill protests. But you heard what the government said. Currently you hear what Ruto is saying about Makweliaye Albatunya, meaning the government is not even worried. Are we treading on the right direction?
Let me say we are treading on a very dangerous ground. And the president, as the sole CEO of the country, must get worried. Because this is his responsibility. The buck stops at him. Because ama chiwonsi pina maswalionsi pi nero kuwenete kuirane. Asengenjo aba Kenya nere ba etelibaga egere araensi. And they believed in his master plan on what is to be, on what he wants to do for Kenya for 5 years. But definitely what we are seeing, they are really worrying. And now we are not okay bolia. Rebuno Morais, Omurayo Monene Buensi. Umanyete is the commander. Egodenga is the commander in chief of the defense forces. The pack stops at him. Enjire to be koleke seye okoranga boli iga ka ombeti bono was na taroji no liswali ngonya kwebolia ekero iso koligere mwana ya njira asirete na the way with which the outrage anger from people has come nilinga erebuno mu president angana bake megetibu no mo ologokea the weight that it deserves address the nation to calm the anger egera tebenga ogochikana arule noko oyo complainant and therefore so far the match mentioned as the major suspect oyo the DIG are step aside egere apave way for proper and effective investigation as it should be. When you take stage as a leader, it derives back the confidence. However, let me give a political inclination. One from the political angle, I want us to feel this thing. You know, Abaskali na Oba call it again to kill. Ngwaro the OCS or Central Police he outlined the chronological events na kivya penalty after almost kali yogoruku was Kwana the cell sentry na waro tebalinga mimi niliitwa nikaambiwa kuna order kutoka kwa mkubwa sio kama unamjua akaulizwa je kama unamjua sasa iko hivi na hivi unajua vile anaeleza akaeleza kila kitu paka unaona china ya DIG inakuwa mentioned not once but severally. I want to ask you kisiringe kiri bubere ajibaire ukoro mwanoli omwana no yo mubye kolenge emyaka isaba ikire na ngina it is past menopause batairane gorere banyore mwana onde unless bagende go adopt. You know, let us say it as it is. How painful it is. How heartless it is. No, this has not say, because as a politician, there are other politicians who want to say we are now politicizing the death of Ojuang, because equally the way he died is out of politics. There is another boy who was shot, karaoke. He was just selling masks, vending masks so that he can just have on what to eat at the end of the day. But he was just shot at a cross range. As another youth.
And that
so this is what I wanted to drive. Perhaps the president could not be seen. There are some rumors I heard from behind about abasikali indagira nereba kairugosa serikali ye Karusi. Na barabo manyite pesiri yabone kuniri. Wanonkolera balekera babu atike. They could be fighting this government through killing the Kenyans, raising the younger Kenya back in the street, and finally abantu bako in the street, to the government. So the president must have an eye, a third eye beyond what he is seeing now.
Thank you so much. You had a point on the same.
That analogy makes sense. It could be happening, but I wanted to say,
there are many.
When we had demonstrations, almost the same time last year,
yes.
They abducted Bagaita, Kenya, the youth, Bagaitwa. We had others, Bakoirua, you know. We had the Kwara, Bantubarusirine, Chiguni, you know, the memory. And they are like, to date, we have never been told about Chiguni.
Yes.
Who organized the Teagatamaningo, you know. Really, sorry. And we are not shy to say, yes. You know, that is what he's doing. And as the president, he is responsible. As the CS, his government, we should get away. And that's why we are saying it's the leadership ego to fail. And to bono bunaba Kenya. That's why people are deciding. Because we have to fight for us. You remember, this is what we changed at some point from police force to a police service. The laws change. Imagine that these people, they are serving us. It's only they are supposed to do policing. Those guns are bought by taxpayers' money. They have a actually they are paid by taxpayers' money. Then come on the streets. I mean, even in uniform. But you know, it's disheartening. And we know the person, if we cannot have these people accounted for as in Vairuko, then the person to bear the greatest responsibility, president. How? If that will make Kenyans safe, at the end of the day, he will carry the biggest burden.
But my question to you, Otienda mole karali kukwana sebunge akatebanga it is unlawful of what DIG did. Was it a tricky?
What we actually expected of him is to resign. I mean, the aspect of stepping aside, like he put it, he's the DIG. He can influence, I mean, by call, as he's saying, a deputy general take over the duties. I mean, what we expected of him was greater than what he did. The law does not provide for stepping aside. What it provides is he should have resigned honorably. I mean, other things could be done. But as no, Kenyans are also complaining that the body has gotten to engage dancing. They are not telling us, you know, the gaps in the most safest place, a police cell. I mean, a servant.
You know, our president is somebody who is very cheeky. And on his first day in office, he ascended into power. One of the thing he did, is giving autonomy, yeah, in the police to have independence on how to do their things. So as we speak, police is independent. Independent, ibnego kole bintu byaje. Bono kama uko na gokole bina kodra ko yoda, igo gokole bintu, but you are reliably responsible for what you are doing. You are doing. Bono mwana minto tegete ko koboliga. Obo meto ko kora mboliga ya. Keko gera bantu, the president must understand this clearly. It should not have taken the DIG Ragat or Eya Ragat to have taken an initiative of a personal initiative to step aside.
Yes.
That one should have come from his boss. The boss is the IG, Kanja. He should have actually asked him to step aside. Because when I as you are posting over there, step aside, yes, it is me to decide, Nimo take over from that office for impartial investigation to take place.
That is correct. Actually,
but now,
we have instances.
In Chabona as a suspect, in Kotebanga and step aside, in the Wakiri in charge of his yard.
We have instances where Kotebanga, Ruto has personally forced some leaders to resign. The former DCI Kinoti, he was forced to resign.
The former IG.
There are those who resign, and he intervened. Why is he protecting Oyoyo Mere? I mean,
you know, Ruto can be a good person, but now, if just keeping quiet and not just taking the mantle as it is, the problem now comes here. Now people want to feel, we will want to feel like now, not as serious.
Legally, because we also know that the police service is independent. Let's assume the president is assuming there is the IPOA, there is the police, and he has allowed them. We are assuming if that is what he has done, but in your motive intentionally then we get what.
Independent and because my ten to one of but you failed. Actually, you should even do an overhaul in the National Police Service.
Legally, in terms of Komotevi, just step aside, he may not have the role because the police act independent. Yes. What we expected is the IG Konyara in charge of the police as the CEO.
But remember what?
Kanja, we expected Kanja go intervene. Amotenga, you are my deputy. But because of Amagosa, then kindly give room for investigations. Kanja is the CEO of police service. Failed us. Now, when Kanja failed us, it's when we go to the next responsible person, or the CS and the president. I believe that is what we are getting. But so if today the president comes out and says, DIG Lagat, we are forcing you for war. I mean, you will find a petition, Mambi, in court, Lagat have been, unfairly terminated, and he'll be reinstated. So legally, we do not.
There is incompetency from the CS in charge of internal security. And this bestowed the mandate to be in charge of this. I think now we are in agreement. That is correct. Yes.
Do we really expect justice?
In terms of justice, I'll tell you, we sure expect justice. To the families, the Ojuang and the Babara Sirebonsi. Because I know the same thing happened last year. I mean, during the corona, the shutdown, we had matters Chabasikali Barasete carelessly. All of them, the three I know, I had one matter, I think, and others, Chirina Arekobuati closely. One was sentenced to 15 years. I mean, we know, and Talam and the other people in that group should be told that even those judicial officers sitting on that desk, they have feelings. They see the way these people are treating us. So if evidence is brought and it's strong enough, I mean, then somebody would be responsible. And we know all of them, or most of them, back under less than 15 years. So they are because the judiciary, the Chief Justice wrote their press and said they are also saddened, but they promise to ensure a justice yakoliru, and we expect nothing but short of that. Not unless abasikali, the DCI and the ODPP, especially because the IOs are police officers, decide to do a cover-up. I mean, we saw them back and go disconnect CCTV. That's the beginning of covering up. We do not know the kind of files they are going, police files, the evidence and everything, the postmortems. They sometimes tamper, but we believe if they do a clear investigation, all of those aspects, we expect justice to the families.
Thank you so much. But before that, we've seen cases in courts. Niko kanda bia very miaka yonsi. Paka no muntu oenigwa bado keni kinagitaraera. How long? Okay. Expectations cheito buya. Kineka kusokolenga nae. Kineka how long kera ile kwera?
Expectation yo ya Kenyans, and as a practitioner, I know when a client goes to Kenya, bono bunara oliora setugoro. This hawker, they expect the suspect, but that is not the procedure. It takes time because the judiciary is also overwhelmed because there are so many matters. Today, criminal matters registered in Kisii are over 500. So there are only 5 magistrates. We are not saying the judiciary is failing us by having a few, but we are saying magistrates, and judges try at most or fairly it should take maybe 2 years. Or thereabout. 3 and 4, we start getting worried. But 2 years, mean from the date Akoyenda take plea, investigations chere, mentions pre-trials chere, then hearings chichake. So we expect within 2 years. Sometimes it takes longer depending on the officer handling the matter is maybe on leave for metukata to nerati moke. So that matter yanyora yairu chitalikichirare. But ultimately we expect within 2 years. Korubono. Expecting anything less, then it means a judicial officer hearing to end on 1 or 2 days, which may not be possible because justice also, there are other litigants by expected justice. But in 2 years from now, we expect to have a verdict. Mbunaba Kenya, the challenge that happens after the incident, we forget another one would come. If we would follow strictly until the time that judgment we know.
2 years.
Yes.
You know the case.
Yes.
It's taking years and years.
That has taken years because you know the number of witnesses. There are over 40. So humanly, konyara go tegerera aba witnesses close to 40 go testify. Notebango ekero yomo mutienyi because they will testify. You get a break here too, maybe hearing a mention, further mention after maybe 2 months. So Kero yomo or gap here 2 months, you expect nothing less of 3 years. That is justifiable because the nature of the matter. Yes.
Thank you so much. I don't understand us. In whose hands are we safe?
In whose hands are we safe? In whose hands are we safe? In whose hands are we safe? But let me say this. In response to whether Chuang will get the justice.
Yeah, sure.
The arc of justice may bend too long, but eventually it will curve.
That's true.
To the right and to the truth. I believe however long it will take, 2 years, 3 years, eventually.
Justice will
even when the president is wrong over from his term serving in office, eventually the death of that young man, justice will prevail. And number 2, it is the politicians who have failed this country. Let me say this. It is the politician, and sincerely, the MPs and the senators, they are the ones who have failed this country. We are playing psychovancy at the expense of proper registration, proper oversight, and a proper representation of the people who have elected us. Now, what we see how they are even arguing at Parliament, you could even wonder, are these really the people who are going to bring justice to the people who have elected them? Abantu are very sincere on the mandate. We could not be seeing this.
Lakini ntoro cha bantu mbara tubia the likes of Otienda Molo who is saying
the right to protest, peaceful protest is enshrined in the constitution.
That is correct.
And that is what the Gen Z were demanding to protest over justice for the slain of one of their slain soldier. That is Albert. But what you saw, I'm even reading from the media, the social media itself, that the leader who is elected under Kenya Kwanza as the governor of the city, the sole city of the country, that has organized the goons who were being escorted with the police vehicles to go attack peaceful protesters. And you see, how are they failing the same government?
I'm not sure.
No, that's what I read, and actually it is there.
We said so.
Those are allegations we are having, which are still worrying. But I hope and does that today, mambi and Nyasai okobeko, you will behave better because politicians,
I believe so.
Politicians, apart from very few who reason soberly, a majority of politicians, right? I mean, state capture, parliament and the Senate, they reason koru state house. So those are among the people who are failing us. Apart from very few who can be named, bago ikabanyarako get out of their political parties, banyarako Kwana for the people. But we expect that ultimately, either through parliamentary investigations or whichever way, that accountability would be done. But then the final person, like we said, bear that brand.
The park stops at the president.
No,
I'm still here. We are talking of, for instance, let's assume it is taking 3 years. We even saw his dad. Kwana through media nyoresi kurasese muraibense. Are you sure tampering yekineke take over?
Political aspects. Let me say this. Even in a very mysterious way, people will come and grieve you. Because we have not seen where the president is being mentioned in an neither I and Asa, neither you as but me giving my contribution fight justice, it is not wrong.
I would take a different opinion.
Kenyans are on the roads.
Yes.
What they want or what they are seeking for is justice to the family. President. He is very grateful. He
is very safe. He gets justice. And I'm saying it is. Let us be very sincere. On the time, be hitting an number of your corrogator, one mino was someone to Mina Gasira. The form of Manganayoko grief you. Coyero, Molegaro Bangiri, that one has not stopped justice. I believe that one has not stopped justice. Then the GNCs continue protesting and seeking justice for Aribat.
See, we also expect, Mogambi, as much as we are grieving the family of Juang, we also expect the family members of Juang in Abarabato Kepar. You see, the father should be there. Not directly, but what I mean is this. We do not want him to be praising the CEO we are saying has failed. Honestly, when I saw that statement, personally as Unamokaya, I felt sad. You can't be clapping for someone. Nabengo Monto, of course. Give me a minute. Weapon yo monto eche tomwano. Mambio monyore taranyara goteino ene sese ya embo be yakolete. You know, we have not seen that from the president. Ntora nyoro tabiri watchman yana ya tiro mwane neighbor gose ya tiro onde tinda te ye watchman tinda mobutana no kumubuta tinda motembo be ntambo ke gocha moino ncheko kwa chibesa and you are clapping for me. What does it mean? I mean the omukako that was the lowest we expected, but the rende no mogambia ke bekirenga his morning we expect omuchagere. And I can tell you Eric Omondi put a number ya Kenyans ba mo contributed even more than the 2 million as the president. So then we also expect umogakoli nera to bwatiko te Ruto na as much as you've sent this tindiko kwa Kerankobi, I still expect you on a justice. Justice is not the money. We expect the people. Anybody felt wrong. I mean,
I understand.
Actually, we are disappointed. The tone.
In any way, we can receive a donation. We the politicians, you might kuna shoulder na ki inyura gote president imbiyamono ande inyura gote iraira imbiyamono we inkiraira akoli oyo gote baiga omugago ya gabute tu gore gas agote bigunga unless your wife receives that kind of statement yago Kwana already rush to gas. The politicians are na gote yumo chandora say country yaito, and those people who have led this nation to where we are, trenches of the darkness where we are, it is the politicians.
No matter it's because of the statement Tumako said in a key. I came from Homa Bay to Nairobi with a title deed. I'm going back to Homa Bay with a death certificate. From that perspective, Tandaza, Nona Nabokoranga Kaka, this thing is so painful. But another day is clapping for the president, or you, is the father of the nation. For instance, you see, DIG, or step aside in Kenya from where we are seated. Is it not a trick? Which is stepped aside, which means we are expecting justice. This thing will take more than 2 years.
Who comes to you must come with so clean hands.
At least you know.
Let us not crucify the president for giving his donation. Because even him as a father, despite that thing, authority will pay a sense. No, we will never I believe in the Mokunete. As another what a Koyu Negro Mugaka, what a Colisi were on Goli, a donation to Azaragati, you mentioned it, Canero, Neros, but I will not
remember, we sorry.
Pono whatever. I wanted
to remind you, Ambaro, Waitire, in the Demosherasia Pakabono, we've been crying, we were compensated, but I will.
Which is okay, and actually, let me say this. Yes, Ochuan is one of the dead we are seeing our very youths are agitating in the streets to seek for justice. Among the men deaths were put out of maybe protest or out of extrajudicial killing from the government. But let me say this. Bunatoga said go push for justice for any death, including the one who was shot, a mask offender, plus many others who were shot. Let us be cognizant that we have no other country. We have no spare country. As I speak, I am not for the president, and I never support his ideologies. But as we speak, and as I speak, to my mind and my mind that is not insane, he is the president until 2027 when we are going in another direction. The buck stops at him. Everything that he does, everything that is being done in the country. Remember, when we are coming to the streets to just seek justice for any brutal act that is rendered to us as Kenyans, we are seeking justice. And we are seeking defense, so that we will learn now to accept and say, we are safe in his hands, and if not in safe in his hands, then we will be safe in the hands of Matiang'i.
Thank you so much. But I want to say this. We are crowning a you saw what happened as a street. we are handling a case of Ojwang, and back in the streets, they are still shooting.
We honestly do not know, as an advocate, the circumstances under which Mongwanoyo, they call Lekoni, Chimaska, Rasetwe, whether there was any provocation or whether there was any reason warrant use of violent force. But from what we can see, kelitoroche bamonyorete bakamoita. I mean, talinga barabebu. Our officers, I think, mbanalete mbabuate njira bako bunalichiko. They feeling even there is mbabuate any duty against Omokenya. When they were sent there, they were sent to keep peace and make sure the demonstrators demonstrate peacefully. But they, in most instances, even when primary school students are demonstrating over a small thing, you see to very harmless. Maybe there is lack of training. I would say we also expect the IG to some cause. You see, Kiganjo, they also should be taken to some sober classes. I mean, how do you handle such crowds? You see in other, republics, so in the US and other places, you see them bunduki. Shield, a glass kelly, maybe yogo. But ours, every time you see demonstration, I mean, why? Because why do they allow umusikali ammunition to a servant tobacco demonstrate? Tali bandits to run. So some training is also lacking on our officers, and we expect.
Let me say this.
Crown, what is the way forward?
As I give the way forward, I want still strongly to reiterate my words on the issue of Muse Ojwang. And to drive away from the reality of life to just because of the agitation, your protest. You grieve in any way. Nandeto nyolingana ki as he is seeking justice yo mwana yo osire asa maboko ya serikali bado mwana unamotigirete ndakana no mukungu muburaka who need to leave plus him and his wife. So this is more contribution that he is getting, be it that it is coming from Satan or even God or angel. You are, as you wanted to initiate, let it come, because at the end of it all urumba monyene majana bosaigo wakora kwagenda kwa motiga abo manyana kya kuna kule akuna kule again don't get ki ekatoko mwa PCR into tigatoka endere kuna go seek for justice.
Thank you.
Egere a country yaito governed by rule of law. And let me remind this. I'm reminding directly to the CS in charge of interior and internal security. Moskeki puchumba murukomen. Atike kona gotenga TikTok. Amangana CCTV, come CCTV in the all cells in the cells ya Kenya. Inchiro eka garanja lengo ne liyabe tetambadi. Ekare go proposing a chief amount de uno we biata kete korosia. Let him man up and take the responsibility. Otherwise, in a very serious country, that man should have resigned as yesterday.
That is correct.
The way forward?
What we expect is that the IG and the leadership, the top leadership of police, should, I think, Kerom Montairo responsibility of IG, you stop being an officer and a leader, a government leader, a state leader. We are not saying forsake his officers, but we expect him to instill discipline on his officers. When some of those junior officers the police service, we expect him to call them out and punish them in terms of, accordingly, not arbitrary. Of course, Richie Kondiro, how we should deal with them, and that we expect of him. Political leadership is another thing, because the political leaders bear the responsibility. We also expect them to come out and tell us, but take sides in Anchena Segete or Yona Segete. Omokenyo Itiru, how do we handle it? Nabo Yore Komorama. I remember Ruto when he came in, he said, just the moment he had been sworn in, he said, now he has reclaimed freedom wacha saba Kenya go Kwana kende gionzi batagete. I mean, he's not doing that. We expect him to leave that. Na intubunawa Kenya, we expecting we should not sleep. We know our forefathers and fathers. Actually, freedom to waterera was fought for. Some of them died. So we kato demonstrate na go tebia go communicate to the government ya eteire ya ikira se mutali go toita. We expect rule of law to reign.
Despite of the political decisions we may take, let us remember we have no spare country.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Ochobolgeria nigo twabeira iga na bageni twabeira na wakili Mukaya na boigo Justus Onyari Tandasa senyechuko tema kumurekera okrali bo banyanyimbo na muno guchasa ba Kenya beat ne karo tokurubikana ki beat ne kara mucharo kanire egati yayanda mangena no semali kwananga wetera asen kwana eri tuko dia lero twanyorire alia twategete aba Kenya bonsi banyore wetera sabagani beli tuko lero oyegano murubyo kwana neta nkine gukora Cyrus Azizi twabwateranire kigima na Franklin Mayoga kurasa semo yechi camera Joshua Uta kurasa semo ya kabre ye studio si chief editor Eric Bosire nero abera semo ya kabre ye studio kwa kyo wikirira murubyo okwana neta litkulia lera muna botambe dana komboka gisoi digo to kubwaterana senchire ya bene kwa kyo wikirira murubyo okwana neta bana singe chogocha. Thank you so much wakili. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wekankyo nandara komboka gisoi ime umurubyo kwana netai.